Okay, so this is going to be a general overview of how everything on our van works. It's a nice little handover video. I'll break it up into chapters so you can skip to each individual bit, but have a watch of this and yeah, it should help you to learn how to use the van. So we'll start off with everything inside. So this drawer here has got all of your cutlery and everything. This drawer here has got all of your bowls and plates and everything. And then this little bit at the end of the worktop is where your pots and pans are stored. Just a little thing, remember with all of these drawers, just to push the buttons in when you're finished with them, otherwise they'll open when you're driving. This one here has got your fresh and wastewater. So fresh water's on this side here and wastewater on this side. When you are using the water, just make sure to pay attention to this minimum water level here. You don't really want the water to drop below that, otherwise the pump will suck up air. But the water is on all the time, so you don't have to have any switches for it. So inside here, it's just as simple as just on and off like this. When you need to fill the water up, what you need to do is just put your fingers underneath this top part of the lid here and then just prise it off. And then you can either just pour some bottled water into there, or if you want, this whole pump mechanism can lift out and then you can take this bottle off to a campsite tap or something. When you've finished and you've got your water filled back up, just make sure this top bit presses right down and is fully sealed on the bottom here, and that way it won't spill when you're driving. Wastewater simply just drains straight into there. You just take this one out and then you can just go and tip that either into a drain on the side of the road, or campsites will have their own wastewater disposal. If you have a close look behind this wastewater bit, you will be able to see hopefully the top of a blue bottle. So that's your spare gas bottle for the van. We don't charge you for the gas, but if you do end up having to change the gas bottle, then just let us know so we can replace it when it goes back out for the next rental. So with the gas, the cooking gas on your car key, you'll get a smaller key here, which is for your gas locker. So inside this one here, this is your gas locker. So when you need to cook, just open this up. And if you have a look on the end here, you can see this black dial. It's a bit dark in the cupboard, but there's a little black dial on the end of there. So all you need to do is just turn that one way. So to open the gas bottle, you want to be turning it like that way towards the outside of the van. Once it's fully open, then just lock the gas locker back up again. And then on this side is your hob. So you've got two hobs there. They're just the same as any household would work. So just push down and turn 90 degrees and then just press the button here to ignite it. Same with this one, push down 90 degrees and then just click it. This one on this side sometimes doesn't work, so you can see right there it's not wanting to ignite. So if that happens, make sure this is turned off. In here you've got a small little lighter, so all you need to do is just push down and turn, and while you're holding that knob down, just click that like that. Whenever you're cooking, just make sure to have either one of the front windows open, the side door behind us here, or this window here can open a little bit, which I'll show you in a minute. And then also the other thing with cooking, this hob here particularly is quite close to the seat here, so it can get quite warm. So I always just say to people, if you just use this dial down here, just wind that forwards a bit, and then that will just give you a bit of extra space around that seat for when you're cooking. And I'll just show you that window on the back here. So you just push this this lever on the top down, and then you can just pull the window, and you just only have to have it open just a small bit to get some airflow. But that lever, if you just slide it, it will lock into certain positions. So you can see at the moment this is down, but if I push the window back that way, it will lock up into that position, and then you just have a small little gap there to get a bit of airflow through, and then just push it down and just shut it all the way like that. So with your cooking gas, you can leave the cooking gas on if you're going to cook your dinner in the evening and then go to bed overnight, and then you want to cook your breakfast in the morning. That's fine to leave the gas on. just make sure before you do any driving that you come back down to the gas locker here and actually turn the dial off, which I'll do just now. So just the reverse process as before, and then just turn this dial off. We have got another video on the channel which will show you how to take this gas bottle out and change it if you do find that the cooking gas runs out while you're on your camping trip. So we'll just lock that back up. So that is all of your cooking and all of your fresh water. Your fridge here, I will make sure that when you pick up the van, this fridge is already turned on and set at the right temperature, but you've just got a small little freezer compartment at the top there. You won't need to worry about this dial. As I say, I'll make sure that's set for you, and that's just as simple as the fridge is. If we come over to the electrics, so at the moment here everything's off. When you pick up the van, these two here will be turned on. So this one is your fridge, and this one powers this bottom bank here, which is your USB sockets for phone charging. This is your leisure battery voltage. So I would always just try to make sure you keep this above 11.5. If it does start to drop below that, then either start the van or just turn the fridge off, but it should be absolutely fine. This van will run itself without moving for about 2 days, but every time you drive the van, the leisure battery will automatically charge, and also every time you're connected up to a campsite, it will automatically charge the leisure battery as well. This is a spare socket in the middle, so don't worry about this one. This one is your main cabin light, so you've got some lighting down here, and then all of these silver lights here, you can just touch these to turn them on. So there's 2 this side, and then there's 4 down this side here. These 2 lights here, so this one and this one just above you here, is the ones for the van doors. So these are just on a rocker switch, so at the moment the doors are open, so you would have these ones flat, but if you do want to turn these off, then you can just do them on and off like that. And then this one on the end here, again, this is a spare one. It's not used anymore. This is your mains electric, so this is only working when you're connected up to a campsite. It will automatically become live, and I'll show you how to connect up the electric cable for the campsite in a minute. And this last dial up here is your heater. So I'll just run through how to turn that heater on. It's very simple. So we press the power button here once to wake the system up. Just leave it on this flashing line. Press this power button once more, and that confirms it, and then a 3rd time to get to your timing. Once you're on this setting, this is for how long you want the heater to run. So you can either use the buttons here to reduce the time, or this side to increase the time. Always make sure that you run the heater for 30 minutes at a minimum, just because it needs its time to warm up. So once you've selected your time and you're happy with that, you just press this power button again, and that is all you need to do. The heater will now go through its startup system, and within about 5 minutes it should be on. This temperature in the bottom right hand corner here is your interior van temperature. And then this number at the top here is what the heater is going to try to go to. So once it's running, you can actually just use these plus or minus buttons here to change this desired temperature for the heater. It's a very, very effective heater, so I wouldn't set the timer for 2 hours and then just fall straight to sleep, because you will find that you'll wake up absolutely boiling. So what I always say is I would just probably put the heater on for an hour or so while you're getting ready to go to bed. And then you might find in the early hours of the morning, maybe 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, you might want to just boost it for another sort of half an hour or so. But yeah, it's very effective. It just blows out of this vent down here, which you can move if you want to. You can just turn this to redirect the air. So again, just make sure you haven't got any rucksacks or anything like that blocking up this vent. But that is the heater. Very simple to use. I can't show you right now because it needs to go through its startup cycle, but if you say set the temperature for an hour and after 40 minutes you want to turn it off, all you need to do is press the power button once and it will wake the screen back up, and then you just hold the power button in for about 3 seconds, and in the middle here it will say off, and then the heater will just go through its own little power down cycle. So that's all of your electrics and everything on this side. So I'm just going to turn all of these ones off. I will go through the bed. As I say, again, we've got an individual video, but just for ease of the video here, I'll show you how the bed works. This board on the front is only held on with some Velcro, so please just make sure when you are actually pulling the bed down, you can feel that the back of your hands when you're pulling are on the metalwork of the bed frame rather than just this inside lip of the wood, because it will just pull off. If that does happen, it's no problem at all. All you need to do is just use the curve here to line the board back up, and then just push it right up to the bottom of the bed here, and it just sticks back on. But so when you want to put the bed down, if you have a quick look here, you can see this lever, so that needs to push off to this side. So the easiest thing I find is to just hold that lever over with my thumb, and then you put your fingers on the metalwork behind the bed frame there. But just before you do that, you need to get the seat belts here and pull some slack out on the seat belts. Now I always hold the buckles above my hand, because what you don't want to happen is the buckles to drop down through this gap in the seat here. So hold the seat belts like that, push the lever over with your thumb, and then get your fingers onto the back of the metalwork, and then just give the bed a bit of a pull towards you. And as soon as you've moved it just that tiny bit, you then don't need to worry about the lever at all. So you can reposition and then pull the bed from wherever you find easiest. So I normally then take a few steps back and then just pull the bed from this side and just keep pulling it backwards towards you. And then when you get to this last little bit, you can actually just use the tension on the seat belts here just to let the bed lower down on its own like that. And then you can, and then that is your bed frame down. So you'll be able to see a bit easier now that there's actually quite a gap here, and yeah, you don't really want these seatbelt plugs to drop down through this gap, because it's a bit of a pain to try and get them back up otherwise. So that's why I hold it like above my hand. When you want to put the bed back, it's just a very simple reverse case. So again, just pull some slack out onto the seat belts, and what you want to do is have your knee pushing against the bed just here, and then you use this strap here, and what we're going to do is pull the strap towards us at the same time we push with our knee. So we just pull like that just till the bed starts to fold a bit, and then once that's done, all you need to do is just holding those seat belts up and then just sort of push the bed back like that, and then just pull that slack out on the seat belts. Once the bed is all back, you need to just have a quick look down here, and sometimes this lever won't go right back, so just push it over and just make sure that's pointing straight towards the front of the van, and then that's the bed all locked back in place. If there's only two of you, you can drive with this bed down. You don't have to put it up every time you want to drive. The only difference is if you drive with the bed actually down, you might find that it is a little bit more rattly and a bit more noisy. But yeah, absolutely no problem to drive with it down. The other bit inside which you may want to do is swivel this seat round. So this one I won't actually go through on this video. There is a separate video of how to swivel this seat on the channel. So again, yeah, if you do want to turn this round, it spins all the way around towards you, and it's quite nice because you can have two people sitting either side here. But yeah, have a look on the channel for that. Just pop this seat back. And then the other thing is the pop-top roof. And again, there is a completely separate video on the channel of how to use the whole roof. So yeah, just pop over and have a look at that one if you want to sleep up here. It's perfectly fine to sleep two adults up here. Weight-wise, there's absolutely no problems at all. So yeah, that's all good there. that is pretty much everything inside the van. We'll just nip to the back. There's a few other bits to go through there, so I'll show you that. So at the back of the van, to open the back door, you have one of the handles underneath here. And then for the other side door, the handle's just here. It sounds very obvious, but when you're going to shut the doors, just make sure that this driver's door shuts first. You can actually shut the passenger door first, but what can happen then is this door will shut and damage the light up here. So just make sure that it always shuts the passenger side first. So have a look on here, you've got your table for inside. So you just need to undo this. And then you've got your two little levers here to take the table off. And then with this leg, you have a little arrow on here, which you just push this over and then the leg will fold outwards. And then we will just nip back to the inside of the van. And this table simply just slots onto that rail, just pushes onto there like that, and you can just move that to wherever you need to. Very simple, and then again just push that arrow and then the leg will fold back down. And then these just lock it back in place. This strap here is purely just to stop this leg rattling around when you're driving. So that just goes on there like that. These cupboards here, this one is just a bit more storage. It's exactly the same cupboard as there is here, but it's just you can't get to this one when the bed is open, or when the bed is up, sorry. And this one here, this cupboard at the bottom, has got your electrics in there, or your electric cable for the campsite, and also has some leveling ramps in here. So I'll just take this out and we'll show you that in a minute. But this black box here has just got some leveling ramps, so if you are on any uneven ground, you can just pop it underneath the wheels and drive up onto them and have a nice level sleeping platform. So if we just go around to the driver's side of the van now, to get to the electric cable, you just need to open the bonnet. So to open the bonnet, there is a little lever just down here, and all you need to do is just pull that once towards you, and then that releases the bonnet. Now if we go around to the front, the second stage of opening the bonnet is directly in front of the VW badge, and you'll feel there's just a little lever underneath here, which is just this one here. And your electrics for your campsite is just down in this side of the van. So all you need to do is just take this socket off, and then the bit for your van is always the one which has the cover on. So I find the easiest way to do this is I hold this all the way open, and then I put my thumb on there like that. So you're sort of holding this flap open, and then this small little dent here lines up with the dent on the top there. It's fairly obvious, it will only go one way. And then all you need to do is just push that on like that. Make sure it goes all the way down. I'm not sure if the camera will show it, but if you have a look right down in here where my finger is, there's a small little tab underneath here. You just need to make sure that blue lid locks underneath the tab there. Once you've connected up to this, you can actually just pull the bonnet gently down onto the first little setting, and then this cable has plenty of slack to sit underneath there. Your other end here will just take off and just plug into your campsite. And then, as I mentioned earlier in the video, those two sockets inside the van will then become live, and your leisure battery will start charging. When you need to unplug this in the morning, you can just lift the bonnet back up again. Now it can be quite stiff to take this off, so what you need to do is this main white block here, you want to use one hand to push that block downwards at the same time as using the other hand to pull this connector plug up. So it's a little bit awkward, but what I do is just push my fingers into here, and I'm going to put downward pressure onto this main white plug, or white block, sorry, and then you just want to gently wiggle this connector upwards. It is quite stiff. But that comes off. It's just because this socket here is only onto this bit of plastic, so if you just try and pull the whole lot up, then you know it's not going to come off. It will just pull this plastic up, and then pop your cover back on there, and then when you're all done, fingers are clear, one big slam onto the bonnet, and that is all shut up. And then this cable just gets stored in the back of the van. So we'll just take that back round. Without it getting stuck under the wheel. Just gets stored back in there, all shut up, make sure all the buttons are pressed, and then, as I mentioned earlier, driver's door first and then passenger door afterwards. Now the last little thing, which is just helpful for night time when you're sleeping, so if you are to use the van's key fob to lock the door, then the alarm is on from the inside and the outside of the van. So what you want to do at night time is you need to shut all of the doors, and then you lean through the, lean over the top of the driver's seat, and then just use this lock button here on the edge of the driver's door. So as long as you lock this, the van will be locked from the inside and the outside, but it means that the alarm is only on from the outside doors. So when you're moving around in the van at night, then the alarm isn't going to go off. In terms of driving the van, it's all fairly straightforward. You've got your lights here, which are automatic, windscreen wipers on this side, indicators on the other side, and then for this van here, the reverse is a lift-up lever for reverse, and then it's just all the way over to the left and all the way to the top for reverse. This down here is your vent for the fresh air for the heater to be sucked in from. So when the heater's running, which you probably can hear now, again, just make sure that this vent isn't blocked up with anything, just so that the heater can get enough airflow to come through. The last few little bits and pieces just to show you on the passenger side here. So down here we've got your fire extinguisher, your fire blanket, and then the last piece of safety equipment which we have in here is just up here on the top of this cabinet is a gas and a smoke alarm. I'll take it off just so you can see what it looks like, but you won't need to take it off. So this is the actual alarm itself. If you do happen to set it off, if you accidentally burn something while you're cooking, you just need to press this button in the middle here, and then it will go through its own reset procedure. First of all, it will test for the smoke. So there's a voice which actually comes out and shouts smoke 3 times, and then after that it will go through and do the gas test. Again, it will shout gas, but that's it, just all you need to do to reset it. So that just sits up there on the top. And then these little bits in here, obviously help yourself to all of these teas and coffees. It's all free, and then there's a few little guidebooks and everything, which is down here. So that really is pretty much everything which I need to show you about the van. If you do have any questions or any troubles when you have got the van from us, I'll provide you with my number before the rental. So please feel free to just contact me at any point in time. Doesn't matter if it's late at night, we just want to make sure you have a good trip away. So thanks very much for watching, hope you found the video helpful. And yeah, as I mentioned, hop on to any of the other chapters if you want to watch just the smaller individual bits of the van. Thanks very much.